My name is Sally Bradbury. I'm Group Resourcing Manager for Barratt Developments plc. Barratt Developments comprises of a number of brands. So we've got Barratt Homes, David Wilson Homes, Barratt London and Wilson Bowden Developments. So within those brands we've got 28 divisions that operate across the UK, so all the way up from Aberdeen all the way down to Exeter, and we've also got a group support function in Leicester and in London. So we've got just over 6,500 people in the organisation. So we don't have a recruitment central resourcing team here at Barratt Developments, so it's quite a small team. We have got HR managers and then we've also got 2 people in a group resourcing function, so we don't actually have a resourcing team here. So we recruit for a range of roles. So we recruit operationally, so commercial, technical, construction, sales, finance and land. And we also recruit into our support functions, so IT roles, HR, law, finance and executive roles as well. Recruitment became a sort of central objective for the organisation. It became critical. The construction industry has a skill shortage, so we aim to be more proactive in our recruitment strategy. We had an ATS in place already, which had been in place for 10 years, so it was a really old ATS system. And as part of the strategy, we updated our careers website. So when you went to the careers website and then went through and applied, there was a disconnect between the careers website and the ATS system sitting in the background. We wanted a bit of more of a consistent approach for the candidates and also a modern ATS system which enabled us to track and report more efficiently than what we were doing, because it was all manual, and we also wanted the candidates to have a better journey on applying online as well. So it was really difficult to navigate, it was time consuming, it didn't integrate with job boards, reporting was really clunky, and end to end it was just a really hard system to navigate around. It integrated slightly, so we integrate with SHL. So ChangeWork, which was our old system, did integrate with SHL, but it didn't integrate with video interviewing, which was something that we were really key to bring into the organisation from a cost perspective, but also to modernise our recruitment strategy. So we selected Eploy as our recruitment partners purely for the fact that they were the most advanced in the marketplace. We felt that it had longevity and that they were also ahead of the other competitors that were in that space. So we engaged with a variety of people across the group. So we had a steering committee which was headed up by our HR director, which enabled us to engage with peers across the group. In terms of the direct project team, we had a business lead and we also had a project manager to ensure that we were on track. And then in terms of the wider project team, we had a few key people that sort of looked after specific areas, for example, the onboarding, the integrations and then the reporting as well. The integrations were a real key element to our project, purely for the fact that we have graduate and apprentice recruitment, which had the integrations that were required. Our apprentice programme was going live in March. There was a real need to have in the integrations for the minute we went live. So I'd say yes, we did have to sort of bring them to the forefront and work really closely with our implementation manager at Eploy to ensure that they were done. So if I take, for example, the graduate recruitment process, so if you were looking for a role in our graduate programme, you'd go to the careers website and then click on the apply button to be able to directly go through. They can apply on mobile and they can apply on desktop as well, which was a real key feature for us when we were looking at the early careers workspace. Once they've applied, they go straight into the online application form. If we're using the CV parsing as well, so it could parse their CVs to make it really quick and easy. So the initial application process for graduates, it can be as quick as 4 minutes for them to apply, and then straight away they go into an SJT test. So that's a situational judgment test which tests their responses and how they would react in certain situations that were relevant to the construction industry. After that, it passes back an automated response, so the system works out for us whether it's a pass or fail and rejects candidates and then moves them into sort of a screening application process. We then screen the candidates, look at their CVs, look at their situational test results, and then choose whether we want to either regret them or take them on to the next stage. Once we've done that, we invite them to a video interview, and then the video interview is scored manually and then moved across again. After that, they've got another process that they do SHL psychometric testing. So the system again does very similar to what the SJT does. It initiates the test and then they complete the test, and the Eploy system decides whether it's a pass or fail and automatically does that for us, and then automatically moves them into the assessment centre stage. So it's quite early to say. We are 4 months into our implementation now, and it is quite embedded into the business. The initial feedback that we've had from candidates is that it seems a lot more modernised, it was really easy, the communications coming from the system were really good, they were able to log into their portal and see where their application process is. And we've also had very similar feedback from agencies. So we use quite a number of agencies across the group, and our agencies are feeding back to us that it's really easy to receive job descriptions now, grading pay bands, business benefits, and also to be able to see exactly where a candidate is with a hiring manager without having to pick up the phone. So that is really useful when we're looking at the candidate journey, but also the customer journey in terms of our agencies as well. So our hiring managers historically didn't really use an ATS system. So for them, they're probably seeing enhanced benefits that many organisations are used to seeing. So they're much more engaged in the recruitment process now than they have done before. They are screening their own candidates rather than PAs screening their candidates for them. They're able to see it online, they're able to do it on their iPads, they're able to work on trains, because a lot of our hiring managers are quite mobile across the country. They're also able to see the candidates' details all in one place, and more importantly, reporting for us. So they're able to see instant reporting, so they're able to just literally log in, and then on their dashboard they can see exactly where a candidate is, they can see exactly how many applications they've got, they can see where they've come from, which they may need to use in the future. So if they've got another commercial role and they're really struggling to think where to advertise it, they can historically look and think, well, okay, I did really well on LinkedIn, or I did really well on the job boards, so therefore I need to make sure that I post that sort of role in that area as well. So for them, it's a lot more transparency and a lot more hands-on for them, but it's not giving them more work. It just feels like they're really bought into the process. 16 weeks from the point of signing the contract is how long it took to implement. I would say that was quite intense, 16 weeks, and ideally we would probably wanted to have it across around a 20 to 24 week period, but our current contract with our ATS provider didn't allow us to do that. So it was 16 weeks, but a very intense 16 weeks. I would say just take time over testing, so really expand on your testing time and your project plan. So when you think you've put enough time in for testing, probably put an extra 2 weeks in. We just felt like the testing time, we had loads of time and it never really worked out like that. We were constantly trying to bring it back in. So I would say always allow loads of time for testing, and just engagement, like keeping people up to date in the organisation about what you're doing and making sure that you're touching base with key stakeholders that need to know what's happening. And another lesson for me is don't try and please everybody. Just try and nail down your recruitment processes, nail down what you're trying to achieve, because everybody, particularly if you're in a large organisation, will want something different. So when you try to please everyone, it's just never going to work. Yeah. So for us, it's to implement the onboarding. So we held off on the onboarding approach. So we did all of the implementation apart from onboarding, purely for the fact that we felt it would be too much impact on our divisions to roll it out all in one go and too much change. So for us now, over the next sort of quarter, it will be to phase out the onboarding module. Also, we will be updating our careers website, and for us it'll be taking advantage of the talent pooling facility that Eploy offers, which is something that we've never had before. So we integrate much more now with job board because of Eploy, so now we've got a talent pool that we can target. So this is a real focus for us over the next 6 months. The structure of our divisions is quite complex, so we've got 28 different divisions, and we like to think that they all operate in the same way, but typically they don't. So I would say that was a big one for us. resource as well. We're a really small HR team, even though we're a really large organisation, and we all carried on our day jobs. So we didn't have a project team that just delivered Eploy. We still had to deliver what we needed to deliver in terms of our day-to-day roles. The time to get it in was really intense for us as a project team, but also for the business. Budget was a real limitation for us, and when we first looked at Eploy, we just thought we would never ever be able to put the budget behind it. But actually, when we compared it to what we were already paying for a really archaic system, it was actually the like for like really, which was surprising to us.